Ready? Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. I tend not to use a microphone because I am pretty loud. That's what my wife says. Now, I just wanted to introduce myself. I see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of unfamiliar faces here. Again, my name is Ted O'Brien. I'm your executive director. I am going to be here permanently. Okay. So, thank you. For those that know me and remembered me, I did start my career with Senior Lifestyle in 2016, July of 2016. And this community was the community that I managed with a great staff. I was here for 4.5 years. Left in November of 2021 to open up a brand new community for Senior Lifestyle in Oak Brook. Okay. That community is going well, and unbeknownst to me, obviously my predecessor is no longer here. I was asked if I would be willing to come back, and of course I said yes, because this is such a special place to me. For those that don't know who I am, my wife and I, this community is special to me in so many different ways. My wife and I actually lived in Andersonville. We parented and were blessed with a daughter who we was born at Swedish Covenant Hospital. Before I ended up, and then we had another one later. And then we ended up getting 2 dogs. That's a whole different story. But when I proposed to my wife, we went to this wonderful restaurant in Lincoln Park, and it doesn't exist anymore. And I decided, well, where would be the best spot to propose to my wife? And it was actually Foster Avenue Beach. So in the shadow, before I even knew that I'd ever be working in this community, in the shadow of this building, I knelt to one knee, proposed, and she said yes. So it is near and dear to my heart because it is so close to something that I, one of the biggest and greatest moments in my life, which was, somebody saying yes. I do have 2 daughters. One, anybody go to the University of Iowa here? No? No? Okay, we just dropped my oldest daughter off to the University of Iowa for her junior year this Sunday. We have, and she is studying to be a nurse, believe it or not. So we're really excited about that. And my youngest daughter is a senior in high school, and she should be, graduating soon. She, if anybody's had kids, they always want money and other things. So we try to comply the best we can. Obviously, being parents too. Since I've been back, I've kind of been here intermittent. I'm transitioning out of the Sheridan at Oak Brook still. I'm also working with, developing a new division of Senior Lifestyle as far as a company for Senior Lifestyle. So I'm permanent, but being permanent doesn't mean that I'll be here every single day. I can assure you this, that I will be accessible, okay? I think it's very important for you to see me, for you to, have the opportunity to talk one-on-one with me if needed. I think that's very important. Your voices are very important to me. I did have the privilege of meeting some residents already. Your resident president of the resident board, Clarice, is over here. So we had an opportunity to meet, and there are a lot of questions that Clarice had that I think I'm going to try to answer. She did in the memo here, but I just want to make sure that I reiterate that so that you hear it from me. There's always that thing of rumors, and I can assure you this, that if you didn't hear it from me personally or in a memo from me, I would question the authenticity of where you're getting your information. Okay, so and that should extinguish any rumors moving forward. We do have an amazing staff. Of course, one of my great hires was Molly, who is it's great to be back and work with her again. I mean, she's the director of fun. I mean, what a great job! That's an amazing job to have. We've got a couple of new additions to the team, which is TJ, our plant ops director, running back there. And, he's a great addition, a go-getter. Really looking forward to developing a relationship and partnership with him as well. Of course, Christina, Director of Hospitality. Antonio, your Dining Service Director, still here. We've got, some other members that I'm probably missing. Obviously, Kristen. A lot of people know Kristen. She's been here for a while. Donna Pennycamp's been here for quite a while. And then Ashley, or Avery, is our human resource manager. She's in Iceland. It's really cold out there. I don't know what's going on. She wanted to go to Iceland. So one of the questions that I'm hearing in the things that I hear right now from a lot of the feedback from you when I get an opportunity to meet you, whether it's touching tables at lunch or dinner or breakfast, is there's been a lack of communication. Okay. We're going to improve that. All right. We're going to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. There are certain times that we were not able to get the information out to you quickly. But I think, we need to improve on that, and we're going to find ways to do that to make sure you're informed, okay? And I'm going to go over a few things here just to make sure. I want to make sure that, all of our staff and team members that we have here have the support and tools that they need. So I'm really trying to get my arms around and assess what's going on, right? Why isn't, do we have the cleaning tools that we need to make sure that the community stays clean? All of those types of things. Do we have the right utensils, the right, all the right tools for my team to be successful, if you understand what I'm saying. It's really important, that the team understands that, our values that are not just words on paper are actually things that are expectations for me. And those values are very simple. It's respect, teamwork, and appreciation, and those things need to be embodied in their actions. I hold everyone accountable to that as far as my team, and they also hold me accountable to the same. There is no hierarchical structure when it comes to the values, other than I probably need to exemplify them, without any flaw consistently, and I think I'm going to try my best to do that. I'm not a yeller. I don't yell at people. It's a matter of fact. It's where we're at. I'm not a miracle worker, so there may be things that you may ask me to, try to fix or do, and I'll tell you if it's within my means to do it or not. I'm going to be very transparent with you, okay? I think that's very important. But most importantly, I just want to really develop a great relationship with each of you and understand, how we can make your community better, because this is a great community. The resident board here, and I've shared this throughout our whole company, our resident board here is probably the biggest and the best resident boards I've ever seen in all my career. So kudos to you as a community and your officers too. So as far as housekeeping schedules, I understand that there's been a big issue with housekeeping. Okay, I understand that. Okay, I still don't know the depth and magnitude of what we're faced with right now, so I'm still digging in and peeling the onion back. But we are in the hunt for a housekeeping manager. We thought we had one. Unfortunately, she did not work out. So we are, on the final interviews and screening candidates. It's got to be the right fit for the team, and it's got to be the right fit for you. Okay. Maintenance delays. I can tell you, TJ is here. He's getting a lot of the work orders, and then we try to prioritize that. So if we call the front desk and have an issue with a maintenance, the front desk should, and I'm checking to make sure they are, trained on assessing, is it a major priority that needs to be escalated to the top, or is it something that might be a lower priority that we can get to as soon as we can, and that might be a day or two. Okay, and we probably need to work out some communication so that we at least give you the acknowledgement that we received it. So those are things that we'll work on, on the backside as far as communication goes. But things that would be a high priority. Your shower head is spewing water, and it won't stop. That's a major priority for us. Okay, and it's a major priority for you. Things that might be a lower priority might be that you need a picture hung, okay? that might be a lower priority, because as you all know, this community is was the first, if you don't know, this community was the first community ever built, managed by Senior Lifestyle for the sole purpose of catering to seniors. So, you know, kudos to you for being in the first community. However, it is a 38-year-old community, okay? When I arrived in July of 2016, there is a tremendous amount of deferred maintenance in the community. We really brought it up to par. You know, then I think we had about 424 occupied units at that time before I left. And then COVID hit. Darn pandemic, right? I mean, we were all faced with, you know, uncertainties at that time, you know, what to do next, you know, and we all navigated it the best we could. So we lost a lot of great people. We lost a lot of great people due to COVID. We lost a lot of great people in the workforce due to COVID. You know, our whole society has changed, you know, as a result of that. The good thing is that according to the World Health Organization, according to the Illinois Department of Public Health, the pandemic is over. Okay, so that's good. That does not mean that, you know, if you want to take caution and you know, if you want to mask up, that's perfectly fine. Okay, we can't mandate people to mask up unless it's directed by the Illinois Department of Public Health. So I want to just kind of get that out to everybody. Okay, let's keep going here. Library. You know, I was disappointed that I saw a lot of books on the floor and things like that, and I was told that some of the bookshelves had to be removed. I'm sure that there's probably a bigger design plan. I am going to be meeting with the executive team at Senior Lifestyle to find out what they are planning in the short, long term, you know, for the community as it relates to capital improvements and projects like that. But in the interim, you know, we're just going to get some shelves for the library. We're trying to get those in the next few weeks here, just to get those books up so people can access them a little easier. Okay. Public restrooms and general cleanliness of the whole community. Folks, you know, no fault to anybody. I'm not blaming or pointing fingers at anyone, but the community is not as clean as it was when I left. Okay. So we are bringing in, by the end of this month, a contracted crew to do a deep cleaning, number one, in the dining room. The dining room rugs need to be deep cleaned, and I mean deep cleaned, shampooed. So we will keep you informed as to when that occurs, okay? Because there might be sections that are shut down. It's going to be a 2-day project, I can tell you that, all right? A lot of the high dusting and things like that in the common space that needs to be done. And then all the tile floor from, you know, the mall area out in the front, all the way into the bathrooms, all the tile floor by the elevators, that will all be scrubbed and deep cleaned as well, so that we can get a base as to where we need to maintain things, all right? And, you know, I just think that, you know, we'll do that and start chipping it away a little bit by little bit to make sure that we get the building clean and up to my standards of cleanliness. And if there are areas that we're not doing it at, where we need to focus more attention on, please let me know. You know, but it takes time to clean a building of this size, as you can imagine, right? It's not like your apartment or you know, or my car. So we always got that French fry in the bottom of the rug, you know how it goes. Let's see. There is a question about the horse that was in the lobby and how the head was, or how it was beheaded somehow. I don't know, gang. I don't know if it's repairable or not. We're going to check. It's a priority, but not a high priority, as we look at all the other things that are going on. We've had issues. Right now, there is an issue with the television channels. Yeah. Okay. And I understand that we've got DirecTV. DirecTV came out. The control box that controls the channels that are missing on your TV right now burnt out. They apparently don't have the replacement on hand, so they had to order it. I don't know what an ETA is on that as of yet. I don't know if TJ is back there, if he has any information on that. TJ, any information on the when DirecTV might have the boxes for the television channels? Sure, real quick.
So I have a phone conversation set up this afternoon with them. The issue is we may need
Use the mic.
He's going to use the mic.
How you doing? The question is the status of the TV repairs. I have a phone conversation scheduled this afternoon. The preliminary is we may need new equipment based on some changes in our service provider. This is not equipment we could get at Target or Walmart. This is very special equipment, and the provider's equipment has limited supply, so there's a bit of a lead time in getting it to us. I know that's not the answer we all want to hear, but I'm hoping to be able to expedite it this evening with my conversation to put a little pressure on their provider and get us up and running as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
So, thanks, TJ. So I know that, obviously impacts everybody when it comes to the quality of life in your apartment and where you're living. There's other items that, I walked into and I saw, my gosh, what's going on there? In your beautiful dining room, there's a window that is shattered. For months. Okay, that is slated to be replaced here in the next, within the next 30 days to 45 days. All right. We also have had some plumbing leaks throughout the building that, I've asked, and TJ and his team are trying to manage and assess and fix those themselves, which, I appreciate those efforts that you've tried to undertake, but we're going to get the professionals in. We need them in here for those kind of things. So, we have contractors for that, and it may cost us a little more money, but, at least gives us the assurance that, not that you're not going to do it right, but they're doing it right. And if something does fail, they're insured. Okay. Okay. Let's see. A couple of other things. Talked to a few of you. I've seen a lot of services coming in here, and some of you that might need services. One of the things that we're going to be introducing, and we're going to send out a survey because we really want to get a gauge of, your interest, number one. But, I'm sure most of you have doctors, correct? You go see your doctor. You leave, you go see your doctor. Medicine has shifted so drastically over the years. One of the things that I've recognized is that, we need to focus more on wellness. We need to be more proactive in our care, right? So one of the things we're going to be introducing is a physician service to you, which would be like a boutique doctor that would not replace your primary doctor, that would not replace any of your physicians, but would be available and accessible to you, okay, to go to your apartment to see you, okay, just to make sure that things are going well, all right? Wellness checks. I mean, you think about it like a car. All of us may have had a car or might have a car now, right? When you drive your car, you don't drive it until it blows up. You stop and you get your oil changed, right? You rotate your tires, right? You do all of those things. And a lot of us kind of treat our bodies as not necessarily maintaining the car, right? So having a physician that is focused on wellness, that would not cost you anything out of pocket, they bill Medicare, is actually a very, very nice service to have, hopefully, and I hope you embrace and seize that opportunity, because I've seen some great outcomes as a result of people using those services, but I want to afford it to them, or forward it to you, so that when they're here, you have that access. Okay.
Mr. Tom, when we talk about like 2024, because that's an excellent idea.
That is actually probably going to happen within the next couple of months.
Could you repeat your comment?
The question was, how soon would the physician services start? And I think we want to get a survey out. I think we're going to try to schedule a health fair, okay, for you to meet who they are, along with the other providers that we would recommend as preferred providers, in the event that you need outpatient therapy or skilled home health services or private duty services. We want to make sure that you know that, hey, number one, you have a choice to choose anyone you want, okay? I've been doing this for 27 years, and I'm a licensed nursing home administrator. I've seen the best of the best, and I've seen the okay services, and I've seen the most deplorable services, okay? Nothing breaks my heart more to see a deplorable service walk through the door that you've chosen to receive, and they're taking advantage of you, okay? That is certainly your choice, but I also feel that it's incumbent on me as an executive director, as someone that is trying to be your shepherd, if you will, making sure that I'm protecting you, to present and put forth the best services that I would recommend, not only for you, but for myself or my family, okay? So that's where I'm at with that kind of a service, and then we want to get that started soon so that you know that it's there. But again, you can choose whoever you want. Okay. So thank you for the question. With that said, I will open it up to some questions if anybody has them. Bill, way in the back, and I'll come back.
This is regarding computers that we have for use in the residence. There are two things. When I moved here 2 years ago, there was a computer terminal outside of the library with a printer. It broke, and we talk about replacing it, then it all disappeared. And what you've got now is that there are only two in there in the game room. You often find people using them just to play games, but somebody's trying to use them, and I understand that. But also, the two computer terminals in the library, only one is connected to the printer. So you wind up with trying to juggle people around, and people are really good about it. But if we had the third computer outside the library, I think it might take, and get both computers in the library, in the game room connected to a printer, that could help. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm just going to repeat Bill's comment, and you know, is about computer access. Currently, I guess I'm understanding that we have two computers that are in the game room. We do not have the other computer that was outside of the library, and not all of the two are not connected to the printer, or one is connected. And you know, so if we could get more access to computers and maybe an additional printer, that would be a big benefit. Okay. Let me look into this and see what I can do. Okay. All right. Next question. I'm going to work my way up.
Ted, you know, sometimes people try to, I understand the elevators are slow. They've been slow since I've been here, 7 years, right along with you.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with waiting, but I don't like to be in the elevator with 12 people and it gets stuck. So can maybe we kind of cut that number down? It was issued before,
Yeah.
but people still try to get in.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I wish I could wave a magic wand and fix these elevators, I can tell you right now, but I cannot. So if you're looking for me for a solution to fix the elevators permanently, I can't. However, what I do ask, and I've done this before when we had 424 units occupied, I do ask for each of you as community members to please, you know, be aware of you know, how when there's a full elevator, not to try to cram into it. Be courteous to your neighbor. You know, if you're on the floor, do not press the up and down button because it will slow the elevators down, okay? I know that to be a fact before, and I'm sure it is probably still the same now. You know, there are just, I mean, I even asked the founder, for those that remember, I stood up here once before, I even asked the founder, what were you thinking? 4 elevators? And he said, Ted, if there's any way I could, you know, possibly, you know, put 2 more, he said he would have put 6 in if he could have, if he was recommended, but it wasn't at that time. So, and things have changed, you know. I mean, we have more people that are using devices today to remain independent. You know, we need to be cognizant of that, okay? So.
Okay, getting back to television and communication sort of thrown together. It was a week and a half before, we lost 8 stations. It was a week and a half before we even saw anything on Channel 2 about it. Nobody, with all due respect to people in charge of stuff, nobody knew anything. It didn't matter who you talked to, you got that kind of an answer. Even if things couldn't have been fixed at the moment, put notes up by the elevator, put it on Channel 2, let us know what's going on. As I've always joked, we might be senior, we are not senile. There's a difference, and we're entitled to know what's going on.
Yeah, and again, all I can say is I'm sorry the communication wasn't there. That is absolutely an area that we are going to improve on, okay? Things like that happen. It was outside of any of the control of the members or the staff here. And we are dependent, on outside services to fix that problem, okay? And that dependency is, TJ's trying to press that, but those things should be communicated to you, okay? Those kind of things will be communicated to you in the future, all right? So I'm assuming, and I'm tasking TJ with this, is that after he gets off the line with DirecTV or the people that he's going to be talking to this evening about when is the equipment going to arrive and when can we anticipate this being fixed, that he give you an estimated time, in a quick memo that we can post on Channel 2 or get out to you door to door, okay? So at least you're aware, all right? And estimated times, because it's a dependency that, we have no control over the outside resource that, now, the control we have is, maybe we need to look at a different television provider, right? All of those other things, and what is it going to take to do that? It's not as easy as just hooking up Comcast and we're live. I think they have to run cables and all that other stuff. But, those are things that we can look into, okay? But inform you as to what we're doing.
That's-
Right, communication's king. So, thank you. Yes?
On the 24th floor, we have two washing machines that have not worked for a month. Maybe we should contract those contractors too, because it's a long time.
I did not know that. We have, on the 24th floor, we have two washing machines that are not working
For about a month.
for about a month. Okay. Those are higher priorities, so we're going to try to, not that the TV's not, that's a high priority. So.
Yeah, my question is, you talked about doing the whole person.
I go to 21.
Didn't talk about cleaning the building.
No, 31.
Oh yeah, the bathrooms are included in that.
I know I heard that might be, but.
31.
Yeah.
Do an endorsement.
I only go once.
I couldn't agree more. Our common space bathrooms on the first floor are bad. They are not clean. We need to do some deep cleaning in there. They will be deep cleaned. So everything, before you can make improvements aesthetically, it's got to be clean first, right? I don't want to put paint on dirt. I want to clean the dirt, then put paint on it, and then go from there. So, back there.
I was suggesting for the elevators, build up the garage elevator to go up.
Sir, I didn't understand your question.
Build up the garage elevator to go up.
Oh, build up the garage elevator to go up. Well, I can't do that, but, I appreciate you. Listen, I can't change the elevator, sir, okay? And I'm being transparent, all right? If I could, or if we were to do something like that, it would probably cost millions of dollars, which would be an assessment on each one of you, okay? Which would also include increasing rents. I mean, it's a lot. And that's beyond my skill set, it's beyond my authority to make those decisions, okay? Clarice?
Just a suggestion.
I have two questions. One quick, will the provider, the healthcare provider, be situated here? In-house?
First question, Clarice. Will the healthcare provider, the physician services, be stationed here? They will be here probably on a weekly or bi-weekly basis based on the appointments they set with each individual that they have.
So it'll be an appointment basis, but not if there's an immediate thing that comes up, someone has a sore throat or something like that.
So medicine, again, has changed a lot, where, if you're sick, have a sore throat, or a lot of us have experienced a urinary tract infection, right? And that's really horrible. Going to a physician's office is a painful process when you're experiencing those kind of situations. They have a phone, and you can call them 24/7. So that's the beauty of having a physician like this, physician service, is if your primary doctor, who you've been seeing for 30, 40 years of your life, happens to be away golfing on Friday afternoon and you have a UTI, you're not going to get your antibiotics. With this physician service, you will. Okay. Second question?
The other question regards filters in the heating, cooling system in the building, and especially after we've had all that smog from the fires in Canada. We've had terrible air, and they haven't been cleaned when they're supposed to be, where they're supposed to be cleaned twice a year, and we didn't get the spring cleaning yet.
Well, and that's a good point. I mean, we are, so what I've also, so the comment was, is the filters in the apartments have not been cleaned. I don't know when the last time they were changed. I'll look into it. But they should be changed on a consistent basis. I think it's every twice a year or once a year. I can't remember. So with that said, you know, we have this wonderful resource of having a lot of other maintenance personnel in other communities. You can imagine there's a lot of apartments here for us to do that with the crew that we have. So we have scheduled for next week on the 20th what we're calling a maintenance blitz, where we're having all the maintenance people from all the other buildings come here, okay, along with their housekeeping department heads, okay, and we are putting projects together for us to do just that thing, okay, changing filters, emptying and dumping out trash that might have been built up in certain areas. It's a cleanup. So that's one of the things that we want to focus on. And we may not be able to get to all the filters, but if we can get to at least, 40%, 50, 60% of whatever we need to change, then at least gives us a little, ability to be ahead of what we need to do. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, what about the progress on the changing of the carpeting in the hallways and the painting in the hallways? I'm on 10 and that hasn't even started my floor yet.
Yeah, so the question was, I think some of the floors that we have been remodeled, and, as far as the common corridor space and where the elevator bays are, and some have not. I actually have a meeting coming up here in the next few weeks with the Director of Capital Expenditures, who's been spearheading that project here, to find out where we're at, okay? I think we owe some money to the contractor that had done the work initially, so we haven't paid him yet, so that's kind of an issue. Okay, I'm being transparent, yeah, so, and other things that we need to do, and they're gonna get paid, but it's just, what do we pay first? Do we pay for Freon that we need for our chillers so that you can stay cool? Or do we pay the contractor that did the work that, could probably wait? So we balance, what we pay first, and some things sometimes come up, but we'll find out. All right, I don't have the answer for you today. There's other questions, I'm gonna go back. Helen?
Ted, I don't know if you recall, I came to you with 2 pages of people who were willing to put a limit on how many people get in the elevator. We had 12 people in this last elevator, 4 carts. I think if people would, yes, we'd have to control it. You can't control it, but if you had a sign that said this many people only, this is a dangerous situation and a health situation. If we had, as I said, I had 2 pages of it. You listened to me, and I can remember you going out the door and said, let me think about this. And then COVID happened. Okay?
Yeah,
I really think, the other suggestion would be, when you know there's gonna be a big building, a big amount of people, couldn't you find someone in the staff that would operate the elevators? So you're not stepping on 10 floors going down like we did. No, there's no room, there's no room. And people squeezing in.
Yeah, so good, two points. Again, elevators, more than 12 people on an elevator. Again, if a sign helps to remind people that it's not, don't exceed 12 people on the elevator, I don't know. I mean, that's what was just said. So, listen, we're happy to put a sign on the elevator if that helps, all right? But, again, this is a personal responsibility for each of you to recognize if the elevator's crowded, don't get on, The other question was, or statement was, is yes, and Helen does remember that when I was here, we had, again, 424 units that were occupied in this community. We don't have that many now, but when I was here, we had a lot more people. Okay, that was 424 units. That wasn't including how many people were here. We had well over 460 people here. Okay, those elevators were very packed, and the wait times were very long. And you know, I hired 2 staff members or a permanent staff member just to run the elevators during peak times. Okay, don't know what happened. I'm looking at things and trying to, but you know, again, if we're just conscientious of each other and respectful to each other when you're waiting for the elevator, and if it's full, don't get on it. You know, just wait. So, hang on, I know, but they haven't had a question first. So.
I have tiny little bugs, and they came twice to spray, and I still have these little bugs. And my son is having a fit because he fears that he's going to bring them back to his apartment. Yeah. They call them ghost ants in the wall, or that's what they told me. Okay. I never heard of ghost ants.
Yeah, that's happening with my client too, with ants.
Okay. So yeah, so I mean, obviously pest management's an issue here.
Like ants, so.
You know, there's a comment about, you know, having bugs in your apartment. If you see them, we need to know. We need to know what your apartment is.
Twice, it still didn't get rid of them.
Yeah. So I know we've got a pest control company. Yes. If they're ineffective of getting rid of the pests, then we need to know. Okay. I don't know a lot about pests other than they're pesty. You know, so, but
they came and sprayed twice.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll you know, I mean, Molly or someone can get your apartment to.
I just wonder if they've identified the varmint, the tiny little varmint. What are they?
Ghost ants, they call them.
Yeah. I don't know what specific pest it is, but you know, we can certainly ask the pest control company what they are and what the effectiveness is. So I just don't know off the top of my head. So. Oh, I'm sorry. Over here to the left. The question was, could we get a hot tub or a steam room? If we do, I'm on the list. So, I mean, there's always possibilities. I just, and no, that was a great question. I appreciate it. I don't mean to laugh, but just because it would be amazing to have one. That's why. You know, the question was, could we get a hot tub or a steam room or a sauna or something like that? I mean, there's always options. There's always possibilities. I mean, if it's, you know, something that, you know, as a group everybody wants really bad, you know, I can put it on a capital expenditure request list, and with that, you know, they look at priorities. You know, air conditioning over a hot tub, that might be more important. But you know, so it's just a matter of where it is on the list. But great question. Way back.
Me?
Yes, sir.
2 questions. Bugs in the dining room. Lots of them. Flying bugs.
Okay.
To the point where I know a number of people are stopping to deal.
Okay. So the statement is that there's a lot of bugs or flying bugs in the dining room. Okay. So we need to make sure that, you know, number one, our plants are being maintained by a company. That is a great breeding ground for flying insects and things like that. I know that from just my experiences. So we need to make sure that that's being treated. If it's not there, we need to make sure that pest management or pest control is finding and identifying the source of where those bugs might be coming from and exterminating. So we'll get on it. 1 second.
Me again?
Yep. You said one more?
Yeah. I'm visually impaired, actually legally blind. This is an elevator problem. If the elevators could have an audio announcing going up or down on the elevator or what floor it's on, would be very helpful. They have those at the VA hospital. I don't think they're expensive to install. It would speed things up and make it work.
Yeah, and I appreciate your comment. I mean, yeah, it certainly would. You know, so that if we could get an enunciator in the elevator expressing what floor you're on, it would be very helpful for those that are visually impaired. Again, I can't make that happen. I can suggest it. I don't know what the costs associated with that would be, but you know, if it, again, you know, it's something I can suggest. I can't tell you. I won't tell you I'm going to make that happen because I just can't tell you that. So, okay. Yes.
Yeah, as you know, I'm here 20 years, probably the longest of any residents. I don't know if this matter has been brought up before. I'm sorry we had to wait for the elevators. In those 20 years, has it been changed? Yes. I would like to comment on the fact that we have the best staff at the front desk and our servants. Yeah. We have the best. In the last 2 years, I have the experience of hearing rudeness to our staff and our hourly employees. We did not have that 20 years ago. I am asking all of you, these people are working for a living as we all have to do. I think we have the best staff in the 20 years I've been here. I'm glad to see Ted there, and I'm asking that you please let somebody know if you hear any rudeness. Please report it to either Regina or someone, but please show respect to our staff and our employees and to each other.
Well, thank you, Hannes, and I appreciate the comments, and yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it is listen, folks, as an employer, there's nothing more challenging than finding quality people to work, okay? And when we do find quality people, we want to retain them. You know, they need to feel good about where they're coming to work. They need to feel good about what they do every day. I get it. You know, we all have life challenges. There may be days where I wake up and I'm not the happiest. My wife says that's quite often. Just teasing. But you can't take that out on the frontline team, okay? And if you do have an issue with that person, then please, you know, say something to someone else so that we can manage it. You know, if you feel like you need to, you know, stomp your feet and yell about something, you know, I mean, we can get you some services, or you can come see me. I got thick skin. You know, I'm also hard of hearing, so maybe not hearing. So, but no, truthfully, I mean, Hannes, thank you so much. You know, it is so hard to find, train, retain staff, particularly today. A lot of people, if you've noticed, it's hard to get a seat at restaurants anymore because there's a lot of people that aren't working. You know, it's hard to, a lot of restaurants have shut down because they can't fire or hire any cooks. You know, so, or even have dishwashers to wash the dishes that you would eat off of. You know, and could that be part of the problem or challenge that we were faced with when it comes to service issues? Potentially. But, you know, it's a community, and it takes a community to really come together. So I implore you and I ask you, please, you know, if you have issues with a staff member, we want to address that, okay? We certainly want to make sure that our staff are respectful to you, but it does go both ways. Please don't yell at the staff. I will remove them from that situation. I'm going to ask all my team members if they're being yelled at to walk away, okay? Don't engage in an argument because I don't yell, and I'm not going to be yelled at, okay? And I don't want them to be yelled at. We'll just walk away. And if that's an issue, come see me. You know, I'm happy to talk with you about it, okay?
Okay, getting back to the bathrooms and communication.
Yeah.
Again, we have you're gonna like this part. We have a job to do. If you use the bathroom, if you go into the and you see some kind of mess, and for obvious reasons you don't want to fix it or can't or don't, whatever, at least when you leave, go straight to the desk and tell staff so they can get housekeeping or maintenance in there. Don't just keep it a secret and 3 hours later, somebody goes in and the mess is still there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if somebody, listen, you know, if you have an accident in the bathroom, I know it's an embarrassing situation. If you would let us know, that'd be great, so that we can attend to it. If you don't, you know the next person is going to go in there and see it. And if you're that next person and you don't share with the staff that there's an issue that we need to address, then there's going to be another person that goes in there. It just keeps going and going, and then it looks like we didn't do anything. You know, the housekeeping house people, if you will, that, you know, manage the common spaces, they're not in the bathroom 24/7. So, you know, they do go in there, they'll spot check periodically throughout the day, and then overnight, you know, if it's at like 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, there's no one here, you know, so that I'm aware of at this point, other than their front desk. So, but yeah, great point. So, yes, ma'am.
I had a hard time hearing what the lady said about the bugs in her apartment, but it sounded like Aegis is not very effective in getting rid of them. And I think our highest priority should be getting rid of the bed bugs and the roaches and all these other pests that infest this building. Because it's unacceptable to ask us to live in a building that's infested with bed bugs. So if the pest control company is not doing that, I would really appreciate it if you could make it your highest priority.
Sure.
I mean, there's no acceptable reason for us to be living in a building that's infested with bed bugs.
Yeah, well, I don't think we have an infestation right now.
Well, we do.
So-
I mean, I was infested.
Okay.
People on my floor
So-
were infested for months.
So,
You gotta get rid of
yeah,
them.
well, here, let me just explain to everyone here. Number one, if we're aware of a bed bug situation, and I did talk with TJ about this as well, about how this company is doing and exterminating those, bed bugs specifically. You know, they look at it, is it an isolated situation? Is there a pattern? Or is it widespread? There is not a widespread in this building, okay? There's not a pattern in this building. If you have a bed bug issue, it doesn't mean you're a dirty person, okay? Well, I never said that you did, but I am explaining that they have a lot of places where you can pick up a bed bug. If you ride the bus, if you're on the L, if you sit in a restaurant, okay? If we identify a bed bug, we will absolutely jump on it. I do not want to see an isolated situation turn into a pattern. But keep this in mind, people will have an isolated situation from time to time.
I get
Okay.
that, but we don't have an isolated situation here. And I think if Aegis, I know 4250 Marine Drive had a bed bug problem.
Okay.
And they got rid of it throughout the entire building because the condo association would not accept it. So we, you as management, it's really important that you make that the highest priority.
It 100% is.
to eradicate this.
100% is, and after this meeting, I want the list of all the apartments that you're aware of and the spaces that have bed bugs. Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Can we work on enhancing or upgrading the menu offerings coming from the kitchen?
Can we enhance the menu offerings that are coming?
Upgrade,
Well,
offer some new things?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's a great question. I think, can we enhance the menu offerings on the menu options that are available today? Yeah, I don't know where we're at as far as resident board and subcommittees, if we have a dining service committee here. But, you know, I think, you know, as team member or as members of the community, that's definitely a great formal way to really participate in menu chats, menu discussions. You know, and if we're not getting anywhere with that, you know, I certainly want to know about it so that, you know, I can find out why, right? So, yes.
Getting back to the insect problems, the new service we've got. So far, I think it's doing great, but the building seems to be widespread infested
crossing with these little bitty, they call them ghost ants, but they're tiny little things. They're in the walls. They got, so far they got rid of them in my apartment, but I keep my eye out. But so many people have them. I think that's something, like I think your maintenance blitz thing is a really good idea for certain things, like maybe twice a year. If you could get a pest blitz thing, because with these little bugs, I think you're going to have to do all the apartments around.
Yeah.
Unlike bed bugs, which can come in from the outside, randomly.
Yeah.
I think that has been a really problem, those little bugs are a real problem.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't go after people, so they're not like bed bugs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't like pests just like anyone else. I mean, it's, yeah.
They're all over, and I think.
She's still talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
This company is like, they're going by appointment rather than doing it.
Yeah. So the comment was, we have a member here that says that she likes the company that we're using. However, that there's an issue with ghost ants. I don't know what that is, but I don't know. I do not know what a ghost ant is. But
Thank God.
But if there's a way that they can do a whole house check, okay, on the ghost ants, we'll check. I know that we should be doing a whole community, apartment by apartment, floor by floor, bed bug check periodically throughout the year, okay? And if
4 times a year.
yeah, so and if we find an area that has them, it needs to be addressed right away. So, yeah.
See, I noticed, not every day, but somebody's smoking in their apartment. I have COPD and it's coming into my kitchen.
Yeah.
Sometimes in my bathroom.
Yeah, there is no smoking in your apartments or in the community. So if anybody is a smoker, that's your own choice. There are designated areas outside, but there is absolutely no smoking in the community. If you are a smoker and you set off or create a fire or set off the smoke alarms or set off a sprinkler, you will be responsible for all the flooding damage for everyone below you.
Oh.
Okay, which would be horrible if you're on a high floor. So I hope you have insurance if you're the smoker and you set that off. Otherwise, it's a big, big expense and it's a big inconvenience to those that you impact negatively. So, yes, sir.
Yes, getting back to the foodie, how come the fourth floor is not open till 6 and should be extended like the first floor? So sometimes I'm not at the fourth floor after 4 o'clock, it goes to 5. Can we extend it to 6 like on one if it could be possible?
Yeah, the question was, can we extend the dining hour to 6 on the 4th floor? There's a lot of things we can do. I just need to make sure that, first and foremost, find out why it was done and why it isn't happening, I guess. But yeah, there's possibilities of doing all of those things. So, clears.
2 things. One, on the days that you are not here, who's in charge?
Well, still working that out, but every department is in charge of a department. So if there's a specific concern or issue, okay, Christina as the director of hospitality can direct where those concerns go to. So she should be getting all concerns brought to her attention, okay, and then making sure they're disseminated to the right person to address it. So if it's a maintenance concern, call the front desk, ask for Christina, or ask for TJ if he's available, or put in a work order. If it's a dining concern, Christina, and she can direct it to Antonio. If it is a, billing question, then we have Donna Pennicamp. I think we've got some really talented leaders here in the community that can address things. And if not, and I'm not physically here, they can call me if I'm not, and I can certainly, schedule a time to call you back or, schedule a time to meet with you next time I'm here. So.
Okay, the other question is regarding social worker. We do not have a social worker in the building and things come up at times where people really need that kind of assistance, what should we be doing?
Yeah.
How do we discern that?
Yeah, great question. So we don't have a social worker in the building. Obviously, it's an independent living community. That said, going back to the physician service group, they can get the resources that you might need. So if you were to be signed as a client of theirs, or sign consents for them to treat you, and you need a social worker, they can get you a social worker, okay, so that you can have that person available to you. So.
Sometimes the person that needs the social worker doesn't know it, and their neighbor is very aware that they do. I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation.
Yeah, let us know. Obviously, here's something that we want to be conscious of, is that every resident, you are responsible for not disturbing the peaceful lodging of other residents. So if we have situations that is disturbing the peaceful lodging of yourself and it's another resident, we need to know. Hopefully, there are responsible parties that we can call. We're not doctors and clinicians as it relates to what we do. But, we can certainly recognize if somebody is in distress, and maybe needs some extra help. There's always other services we can call, adult protective services and things like that, if necessary, and there are no family or friends that would help that person out. So.
Would that be Christina that you would
Christina, or Molly, or myself, and they would direct it, and we would talk about that. So, yes, ma'am.
So you would be crisscrossing from here to the facility in Oakbrook?
Well, for a little bit, but and then there's some other responsibilities that I'm going to be working on, but this is my permanent place. So.
Number two, getting back to the smoking situation.
Yes.
And I understand you have a lot of residents here, we all know that, and I did report to Christina coming out of the fitness and then going outside on the third, that there is smoking over there and they're on the wrong side, and I'm not going to say anything, but I did report it to Christina. Okay. So maybe they should send another flyer reminder.
Yeah.
Where the designated smoking areas are. And number three, getting back to the menu, it was my understanding that basically they're not going to change the menu because the menus are for all the senior lifestyle facilities and not just for the breakers. So if we wanted something changed, it would have to be universally. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. I mean, so the question was, or the statement was, the understanding is that you were told by someone, I don't know who, but that all of our menus are standard menus and we can't change them. That's not entirely true. I mean, there are menu limitations on what we can order. Like, I can't order steak and lobster every night. Okay, I mean that's an impossible. I mean, we can. Listen, hey, if you guys want it, we can do it, but we'd have to charge you for it. Okay. I mean, but we could do those things. All right. I mean, we could honestly, if you wanted to have a participative fine dining event, and you're willing to spend the extra money on, filet mignon. I mean, we can do that. All right.
Lobster with drawn butter.
Yeah.
What I had brought up before, getting back to the menu, is that there should be more of a variety, like for example,
If you have filet mignon, yeah.
the tenders are fried, and what goes with the tenders are fried. So you got two fried items, and to me that's not healthy. So I told Antonio, why don't you put something like mashed potatoes as an option or something like that, and just don't have fried this and fried that together.
Yeah.
If you follow what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand, and
That's what it came about.
I know there's a lot of important topics of menu discussions, elevator discussions, pest control discussions, and things like that. And for each of you, it's a priority, and I get it. But understand that, I'm not going to be able to fix it overnight. I need to get my arms around everything. I've only been here for 2.5 weeks, and that's been intermittent. As I'm getting my arms around these things, and looking at what it is, why it is, and what we can do different if possible. Those are the priorities for me right now. First priority and the biggest priority is clean, clean, clean. We got to clean. Okay, that may mitigate the bug issue if we're clean, right? that may make the bathrooms more appealing if we're clean, right? If I have a clean area where my staff clock in, day out, it's gonna be embedded that we're clean and we need to stay clean. So all of these things need to be focused on right now. That's the controllable. That's what's in my means to control. So that's the first priority right now. Obviously pests, we don't want them and things like that. So, but very excited, folks. I know that we have gone for an hour and 5 minutes. Holy cow. A lot of great questions. You know, I want to thank you all. I have a lot of gratitude for being here, and you know, look forward to really working with all of you, make your community better, and I hope that we do that together. So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it. Oh, Molly wants to say something real quick before you depart.
If everybody could please stay seated. We have so many people in here that we have elevators. We're going to take groups at a time. So stay seated, meet your neighbor if you don't know your neighbor, and we're going to start with the people in the back. The people in that back section and the people that are in the hallway sections. If you want to head to the elevators so we're not all waiting together.
Good idea.
Yeah, great idea.